Hi, I'm going to do a quick little live because I'm going to look at this month's SCRAWLRBOX, the SCRAWLRBOX for October, and I'm just going to see what's in it. It's just arrived today, and as people may have seen, I've had a number of these now, and this is the latest one, the October one. This is probably at the slightly heavier end of these boxes, and for those of you who don't know them, SCRAWLRBOX are in the UK, but they ship internationally. In the UK, they sell these boxes at £18.95 in terms of subscription, but if you actually do a 12-month subscription in advance, it comes down to £17.95 per box. And I've certainly had a few of them that have been really quite good. The thing that I like about them is that they present you with art materials that you wouldn't necessarily go out and buy, and it actually challenges you. So I am going to open them. Unusually, this one is actually sellotaped as well as being packed, so I'm just going to open that up. Using a screwdriver of all things, you know. But that was just handy. So, done that, and it's then got a pull tab on the back, and just open it up. So, we'll see what's inside. And the usual thing is that all the art supplies are inside this bit here, which is always nicely wrapped in tissue paper. Now, this is interesting. It's a different shape of paper. I suppose it's half A4, but vertical format, and it says that smooth white paper, and it's multimedia, and that this is actually SCRAWLRBOX's own brand. Now, I actually did another video a few weeks back, and I compared a number of papers, and actually what I was finding was that the own brand papers actually stood up really well compared with big brand cheap papers. So it'll be interesting to see whether this paper is similarly good, you know. This is an example of the artworks that you can prepare using the materials in this box. And then there is a little magazine that explains everything. So I'll put them back in for the time being. And I will then bring this over and just have a quick look inside. So, turn that round that way, because I could see that there is... They tend to send you, with each of these, a sticky label. I must admit, I'm not a particular sticky label person, but some people like them. And then they give you a prompt in terms of what to try and draw, which is things with wings. And it then explains all of the materials in the box, so that's actually quite useful. The other thing that they give you is, and this one actually looks quite interesting, is a sweetie. The only thing is, I am a type 1 diabetic, so I really shouldn't eat these, but I guess my kids might. And this one is a chewy bar with a fizzy sherbet centre, which sounds quite interesting. So, in this one, there are quite a lot of pens. We've got a Pentel permanent marker, and I do use these at work, and they really are permanent. We use them to write on plastic and stuff like that. So we've got that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we've got 6 of these other pens. They are Yono by Marabou, and I did notice that they're acrylic, and I'm presuming, that these are probably a bit like Posca pens. So I must admit, I have never used this type of pen before, so actually this will actually be quite interesting for me. I'm not all that sure whether this range of colours would have been my absolutely first choice, But I think that's the thing about it challenging you. And certainly I do a lot of pictures of fishing boats and stuff like that, and actually I could begin to see that things like the grey, the green, the white, the blue, and maybe these two as sort of highlight colours might actually work quite well with that. So we'll wait and see. But I have never ever used this type of pen before, so that's interesting, you know. And they appear to have a sort of bullet tip, so that will be interesting. And that you shake, you push, so you depress the nib, and you then draw, and then you seal it back up again, so that it doesn't go off, you know. So that, I think, is quite interesting. Now, going back to the other contents, the multimedia paper, it's actually feels like quite a nice surface. It's definitely not just like cartridge paper. There's some sort of, you know, it is a sort of coated paper of some description. So I think that'll be interesting. I think the other thing is that although I did say like it's an A4 and half in a way, the thing that I immediately thought when I saw it was that I might actually use that paper and actually draw so that I've got something that's very long and actually almost like panorama, because it would actually force you to draw in that proportion. And I think that's actually interesting when you actually get different types of paper formats. So this thing then actually tells you all about the artist and the way that they work and the way that they use the materials. And then the little magazine again explains a little bit more about the supplies and the sweetie, and about the artist, and then tips on how to use the pens in this particular instance, the art supplies. And then it looks back at artwork that people have prepared using other boxes, and it then sort of goes on to show a variety of other ways of using the art supplies. I think this is actually really quite interesting, the sort of just how graphic that is. You know, I think that will actually be interesting to see how I can use it. And actually the artwork on the back of the magazine, I actually find that really quite interesting, the way that it's layered, but that it is very graphic, you know, in terms of the layering and the shapes that it's actually creating. So I think that is going to be interesting. I think from the perspective of the box being 1895, you know, I would have to do a little bit of research to see how exactly it sort of works out. But I think with the magazine, the paper, and then the 6 acrylic pens, and then with the Pentel marker, that actually that's probably pretty good value for money, I imagine. But as I say, I'll have to do a little bit of research. What I will do is I will share this later on my feed, and once I've actually had a chance to actually research some numbers and so on, I'll maybe post that in the comments on the particular on that particular video. So no drawing tonight. Basically, this is me just doing a quick video before bedtime, but hopefully everybody's found it interesting. So thank you very much again, and hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight about SCRAWLRBOX. So thank you very much, and good night. Bye bye.